Hey guys, what's up? My name's Eric.
And I'm Tyler, and we're the Fanny Pack Photographers. And today we are talking about the Zoom Podtrak P4. This is an awesome device. We've talked about it a little bit on our first episode that we had, but we've really been utilizing it lately. And today we're using it with again, we're recording this directly onto the iPhone using a simple adapter. So we're getting really studio quality podcast audio for less than $500 because
well under $500.
This device by itself is only $199, and then we're using the Rode mics, which are about $100 each.
Yeah,
minus some cables and stands and memory cards, those kind of things. But really, you can have a professional setup for a lot cheaper than you used to be. And Eric's got his Zoom H6 here, so tell us a little bit about that because I don't use this device. I know it's awesome, but it's overkill.
Yeah, so I mean, a comparable device that would have 4 XLR inputs right out of the box would be something like the Zoom H6. Now, I've had this for a few years. Zoom has had this in production for a while now, and there are certain elements of where this could potentially be a better device than this, but it's way less user-friendly. It's a lot more expensive.
But the biggest problem that we have, and we've been on the microphone hunt for devices that are compatible with everything that we use for a long time, and that's shotgun mics or devices like this with the the USB-C connection, which this has a workaround for, but it's a pain to do.
Right.
So we wanted something that was seamless, that could connect to the iPad, connect to an iPhone, a computer, whatever it might be, and this little device for $199 does it all.
Yeah, and in fact, there is a lot of overlap between these two devices. So on the Zoom H6, you can use it as an audio interface for a mobile device for your computer. You can do the same thing with the Podtrak P4. With this, you can use it as a standalone device to record your band, your pod track, all of those kinds of things. You can do that with the P4. And in many respects, the P4 is a lot more user-friendly because it has more buttons that are designated for 1 or 2 functions compared with this, the Zoom H6. A lot of times you have to dive into the menu to make changes, and it can just get really tedious and not as intuitive working with the H6 compared to the Podtrak P4.
So one of the really cool things that this has, you can switch between microphone and phantom power really easily. And then on tracks 3 and 4, you can actually have a device plugged in for USB-C for phone calls or call-in audio shows. And additionally, it has the 1/4-inch jack.
Yeah, it's like an
eighth-inch jack on the side for an audio cable, a TRRS, I think is what it is, that plugs in the side for those kind of phone calls. And it works really, really well. We tested it out if you had a call-in type audio show. But additionally, it's got some other buttons here, your A, B, C, and D pads, which are sound effects. So if I hit this, you get that sound effect. Same with B, C, and D. You can program those to sound and do whatever you'd like. But what I really liked is it had the built-in limiter. So you're not worried about, and you do still have to mess with the gain, the knobs up here at the top to get it dialed in. But for the most part, it is going to auto limit for you so that you're not getting those peaks and distortions that you would when it's too noisy of an environment.
Yeah.
And it has built-in reverb. It has a couple just processing.
I think they have
effects.
like 12 effects total. I think about 12 effects total that you could, delays, reverbs. But in our opinion, the ones that are going to be the most obvious to use are built-in compression and limiter on the front end. And why that's important, for those of you that don't understand what a limiter is, if in the case where we happened to set the gain knob that are recording one or both of these microphones a little bit too high, without a limiter, that audio would have what's called a clipping effect, meaning the audio would distort at a really high volume and it would be unusable. The limiter is able to sense that audio getting high and able to kind of suppress it down to a level, automatically kind of adjust the volume automatically so that you aren't getting those distorted, audio signals that are too hot. And the reason why it's important to have a limiter built in rather than running the limiter after the fact in your editing software is because it's kind of too late. Once your audio has clipped, you can't go back in post-production and try to save it.
We have tried.
Yeah,
we've tried so many times.
There are some expensive tools, but they may or may not work. And so it's just better to have the limiter built in on any given unit. And so it's really great that Zoom has included some of those built-in effects like the limiter and compression so that you can do that while you're recording.
So those are awesome features. You've got the mute buttons up here at the top. So if you've got something going on one of the mics, you can quickly mute it. On the side, you've got the SD card slot, and also a power outlet in there as well. On the bottom, you've got 4 headphone jacks, which are required if you're going to use that call-in feature.
Right.
Otherwise, you're not going to be able to hear the caller. But that's an impressive package to have 4 XLRs and 4 headphone jacks on a device that has a USB-C interface for less than $200.
Absolutely. And if you're doing a podcast, a unit like the Podtrak P4 is uniquely designed for that functionality, and it's a much better option compared to something much more expensive like the Zoom H6, simply because it has something like those headphone outs. So for example, if I want to be able to have a caller call in while we're talking, this only has one mic or one headphone out. So only one of us would be able to hear the call. With this, we would both be able to put on headphones, listen to a call coming in, and both be able to, listen and respond to the call in real time. So there's some unique features. Or a band. If you're recording a band and you want everybody to have their own headphones with, their own volume controls, again, the P4 is more preferred compared to something like the Zoom H6.
Yeah, I mean, you and I have done recording together. I'm a drummer. He's a guitar player, if you didn't know. We've done some recording together, and this would be perfect for those kind of, 4 mic setups where you've got, a singer, a bass player, and a drummer with one mic or an electronic set and guitar. It would do just fine for those quick little, demo reels, if you will.
Absolutely. In fact, I'll go ahead and just kind of interrupt this video now with just a short sample clip of me using the Podtrak P4 to record guitars and vocals that I did at my home. So it's just 2 XLR mics, one plugged in to my amp, kind of miking my amp, and the other one plugged in for my vocals. And this will give you kind of just a quick 10-second sample as to the audio quality for music.
Red lights flashing on the highway. I wonder if we're gonna ever get home.
All right, so let's talk about some of the downfalls that we've experienced with this. The first one I'm going to talk about, USB-C works fine going directly into the iPad. USB-C to USB-C cable had no issues at all, and that was whether we were recording video or we were using GarageBand for, getting a track dialed in or something like that. But going to the iPhone, you do have to have the Lightning to USB connector or a dongle.
The camera adapter.
Which is kind of a pain because it's expensive and it's one more thing that you have to bring with you.
Yeah.
So if you forget that, you're screwed. The one thing that we noticed when we were doing today's setup is that it doesn't have any kind of tripod mount.
Yeah.
And so because we have to use that camera adapter on the iPhone, we're limited by the length of our USB-C cord and the Lightning dongle. We tried using an extension cord, a USB?
Like a Lightning extender.
And it did not work. And so that was a pain. But we also realized that, hey, getting the camera or the phone mounted to where we needed to with this, it was actually going to be hanging, and we were worried about this device falling because it's fairly durable. I mean, it's a nice build quality.
And it's light.
It's light, but I still don't want it falling on the ground.
For sure. Yeah, the one thing that like the Zoom H6 has, you'll notice here, it's got this little mounting system on the bottom that's a standard, mount for camera accessories. So where this is nice is if I wanted to mount this on a tripod stand or mount it on a camera or something like that, I've got this mounting option here where I can mount this in a variety of situations. Whereas with this, you'll notice that there's not really any mounting options on it. It's just a standalone unit. So if you're trying to, mount this and use this with a camera or in our case, as we were trying to do today, is get it closer to the phone that we're using to record this with. There wasn't any mounting option for this, so we had to essentially use like a chair to rest this on, rather than going with a mounting option like is on the Zoom H6. So that's one of the things we wish we would have seen on it.
The other thing that I think this has built in, because I've had, the H4?
Yeah.
you could actually hear the audio playback. You cannot on here without headphones.
That is true. These units have built-in speakers.
Right.
They're not great,
But it gives
if you're
you-
just checking the audio.
Making sure it's not peaking
Yeah.
or, anything crazy is going on. You have to have a set of headphones to do that. So again, really love the device. So far, so good. Love that you can do the AA batteries. Haven't maxed that out yet, but you also have the ability for the power input. Not that I don't think I ever will.
Yeah,
but
probably not.
You're in the emergency situation where, hey, shoot, I ran out of battery. It's really easy to, plug that in.
And the versatility of it. I mean, this is an extremely versatile device, the Zoom H6, but I feel like the versatility of this is expanded even just with the extra headphone inputs and how light and portable of a device it is. So we can use this to plug in directly to a DSLR. We can use it to plug into an iPhone like we're doing right now. We don't have to plug into anything. We can just record straight to the unit and it's built-in SD card storage for a podcast. So we can use it even on our PC or Mac as a audio interface for recording a band or recording other audio sources.
Zoom meetings. You can use these kind of mics for a Zoom meeting and sound way better than your built-in webcam mic or whatever else you might have sitting on your desk.
Right. So in terms of it just being, it's a great audio solution. It's a very versatile audio solution for mobile, for PC, for Mac. It's just super versatile, and we really haven't found any other little compact portable unit that is about this size that offers
Checks
the
all
versatility.
the boxes, right?
Yeah.
And the best part is it does fit in your fanny pack.
It does fit in the fanny pack. Yes, absolutely. So I've honestly been carrying around this fanny pack with a few other accessories along with the Podtrak P4. I've been doing that now for about 4 or 5 days ever since I've bought it. And it fits in there no problem at all. Super portable.
I just got my new fanny pack,
Oh, yeah?
but it's out in my truck right now.
What color is your fanny pack?
It's gray.
Oh, is it? Okay. I thought you were going to go with something outrageous like, neon pink or
Like
something.
like our logo. No,
Yeah.
nope. Stuck with just gray to match my backpack.
There we go. There we go.
Cool.
Yeah. So last but not least, let's just talk about a couple of the technical specs for those of you that are nerds like I am that want to know, hey, what are the technical specs of the Zoom Podtrak P4? So the first thing is that it is recording up to 16-bit audio. That's not great. I would have liked to have seen 24-bit like the Zoom H6 or like a lot of other audio interfaces that you can buy that are 24-bit. And for those of you that don't know what that means, 16-bit versus 24-bit is just basically talking about bandwidth in terms of what it can record.
Most people can't tell.
Yeah, dynamic range, the audio dynamic range.
The audio
So,
files can tell, but
Yes,
most
yeah.
people cannot. It's
Right.
it's a great recorder.
for sure. So I mean, we're being nitpicky at this point, right? Oh, it's 16-bit instead of 24-bit. Kind of not a big deal, and most people aren't going to care or be able to tell the difference, in terms of that. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is, its versatility in terms of recording different microphones. So these microphones here are great microphones from Rode. They don't require any sort of power or anything like that. They just plug directly into the Zoom Podtrak P4, and you're off to the races. But there are microphones out there that are higher end microphones oftentimes that require phantom power, meaning they require up to 48 volts to power the microphone, and some units don't offer phantom power support. This unit does offer phantom power support, and it offers it on every single channel with just the flip of a switch. There are a lot of other audio interfaces out there that maybe offer phantom power on 1 or 2 channels, and beyond that, you're kind of dead in the water. This offers it on all 4 XLR channels. So that's really nice to see that they included that.
All right, so that's our quick review. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe and share with your friends.
Yes, absolutely. Stay tuned for more.